Hello viewers. In this class we are going to see art of reading. I am Dr. P. Parimaladevi, Associate Professor and Head, Department of E-Commerce, Vellala College for Women, Erode. Art of reading. In this we are going to cover introduction, different types of reading, the SQ3R techniques, rates of reading, determining a student reading rate, activities for increasing reading rate, becoming an effective reader. How to become an effective reader. First we will move to introduction. Reading is a complex developmental challenge that we know to be intervened with many other developmental accomplishment, attention, memory, language and motivation. For example, reading is not only a cognitive psycholinguistic activity but also a social activity. So, reading is an essential element at every stage of one's life, particularly in schools, colleges, and at workplace. This is because reading is a means of discovering information to expand one's knowledge and understanding the subject of any kind. That is why it is said reading is to mind what exercise is to the body. The more you read, the stronger your mind is. As exercise strengthens the body, reading strengthens the mind. There is a general assumption that everyone knows how to read, but the fact is the other way round. Not everyone knows how to read, and those who feel they know are not doing effectively as they could be. The ability to read fluently is one of the several factors necessary for reading ability. If the reader is not fluent, it may be difficult to remember what has been read and relate to the ideas expressed in this context. So, being a good reader in English means that a child has gained a functional knowledge of the principles of the English alphabet's writing system, isn't it? Before moving to the types of reading, reading is a cognitive process because reading helps in mental development and is known to stimulate the muscles of the eyes. Reading is an activity that involves greater levels of concentration and add to the conversational skills of the reader. It is an indulge that enhances the knowledge acquired consistently. The habit of reading also helps the reader to learn new words and phrases that they come across in everyday conversations. By reading only, we can get that, isn't it? So, the habit can become a healthy addiction and add to the information available on various topics. It helps us to stay in touch with contemporary writers as well as sensitive to the global issues, so that it is essential to get an art of reading. There are various types of reading available. We will see it one by one. Types of reading are skimming, scanning, extensive reading and intensive reading. We will see it one by one. First, skimming. Skimming is one of the tools you can use to read more in less time. In marketing and all, we know skimming strategy of pricing. Initially they fix high price, no, like that. Here, when we adopt skimming type of reading, we can read more content at less time. Skimming refers to looking only for the general or main ideas and works best with non-fiction material. With skimming, you overall understanding is reduced because you don't read everything. That is one of the drawback of the reading, but it saves time. We can extract the essence of the content. Next type of reading is scanning. Scanning is a reading technique that involves quickly reading through a text to find specific information such as name, date, or key phrases. It's often used to find answer to specific question. This is another type of reading. Scanning is. Next one is extensive reading. Extensive reading is a language learning technique that involves reading a large amount of easy to understand materials for pleasure and to build reading skills. Next type of reading is intensive reading. Intensive reading is a technique for reading a text in detail to achieve specific learning goals. It's a more active approach than other type of reading, and it requires a careful and critical eye. These are the various types of reading. One of the method available for us measuring and enhancing reading skill is the SQ3R technique. The SQ3R or SQ3R is a reading comprehension method named for its 5 steps, that is survey, question, read, recite and review. Survey. Here under this stage, gather the information we need to focus on. What is the purpose for reading that we gather? Then question. Decide on the question you want to be answered after reading that content. Then read. Look for the answer for the questions we have. Then recite. After each section, stop and think and find out if you remember what was read. That is called as recite. Then review. Once you have finished, go back to the whole chapter. This is the technique available to assess. Then rates of reading. The average reader can read 238 words per minute while reading silently. We have to note that when we read silently, we read more. When we reading aloud, the average reader can read only 183 words per minute. Got it? If we read silently, we can read, average reader can read 238 words per minute. But if we read aloud, the average reader can read only 183 words per minute. Previously, it has been thought that the average adult read at the rate of 300 words per minute. This is the reading rate. Then, how to determine the student's reading rate? A student's reading rate may be calculated by dividing the number of words read correctly by the total amount of reading time. You can count the 100 words in a passage and then time the students as or she read the passage. Here, reading for memorizing means the reader can read 100 words per minute. Suppose if the reading purpose is for learning means it may vary from 100 to 200 words per minute. Suppose if the reading is for the purpose of comprehension, then the reading rate is 200 to 400 words per minute. Suppose if it is for skimming, just to extract the content, essence of that content means at the time the reader can read 400 to 700 words per minute. By that way we can determine. Activities for increasing reading rate. We can engage in several activities to increase the reader's rate. Methods available for increasing the reading rates are: the reader has to listen to the text as they follow along with the book. Then follow the print using their finger as a guide for the reading line. Then reading materials are used that students would be unable to read independently. If they read the material, it won't allow them to think more than that. They have to refer more books. Some of the steps to improve our reading abilities are: develop a habit of reading daily. Either it may be a newspaper or journal, magazine, or novels, whatever it may be, but we have to develop the habit of reading daily. Then set specific goals for reading. after developing the habit of reading, we have to set specific goal. What is to gather general knowledge or to get information about contemporary issues and update our knowledge, whatever may be the purpose, we have to set the specific goal for reading. Then review the text beforehand. When we read, we have to review the text before the hands. Then try to understand the purpose for what we are reading. Then use different reading strategies. Various types of various strategies are available for reading. Every time we have to use different strategies. Then take notes as we need. Read. Then summarize what you read. These are all the steps which will enhance our reading ability. Becoming an effective reader, what we have to do? You should be attentive while reading. Then don't talk to yourself while reading. This means what? You have to be concentrated. Then don't keep reading the same thing. Change the material, change the content, different kinds of reading, different themes. You can novels or poems, like that you can read the different things instead of reading the same kind of books and materials. Then vary your reading rate according to the text. If it is essential, you may take more time. If it is not, means you may skip or move fast. Based on the text, you may vary your reading time. These are the various content regarding the reading skills. These are all the art of reading. Thank you.